Hey guys, you don't really know me, but I'm Ryan. I am Jake's human. He has decided that I need to make this video because it is a little bit of a touchy subject that requires visuals. See? Cool visuals. So this is our first video, and it's barking orders, as you can see. And I got Jake over here in the director's chair. He was wanting to do it himself, but he figured you guys wouldn't really understand the whole barking thing because, you know, doesn't have real vocal cords. Anyways, so he's giving me this look like, get on with it, you moron. So I'm going to try and do this in one take, and we'll see how it goes. So today, we are talking about collars. Yeah, collars. I know, it seems simple. Everyone has one. Nobody quite uses it. Or no one quite uses it the way it's supposed to. So basically the idea here is I'm going to go through a bunch of different collars. I got them all in front of me here that you can't see, but I can see them, and that's all that matters. But I will show them to you, don't worry. And we're going to talk about exactly what the collars really are. So I'm going to get started with a brief intro. We're going to go over each collar one by one. Then we're going to talk about, you know, the purpose of collars and what we do with collars and how collars, you don't want to hurt your dog with collars and all that sort of stuff. But we'll get into that. And then I'm going to go over each collar one by one, and we're going to learn how to use it. And hopefully that won't take too long. But if it does, well, such is life. I mean, that's the way things go. So yeah, if you like collars, this is the video for you. If you're interested in collars, also the video for you. If you're just raising a dog, also the video for you. So I guess we'll just get started. I'll give you a quick overview, and yeah, so here we go. Collar number one. Hopefully it didn't get all blurry there because I want to focus, but this is a collar. Yep, the plain old collar. Look, we've all seen them. They come in leather, nylon, and they're adjustable, they do a whole lot of nothing, but they're good, they hold the jewelry. So yeah, that's collar number one. Collar number two, yeah, this is a nylon choke collar. See, very simple. Some of you hate it, the idea of a choke collar, but we'll get onto that in a minute. Collar number three, this is a chain choke collar. Pretty much the same as the nylon one, except for it's made of chain. Ooh, shiny, bling. Anyways, moving on, this collar right here is a little bit of a more interesting one. It is called a semi-slip choke collar. It is like a choke collar, but it doesn't choke. It limits, see? Ah. Next, we have something called a gentle hustler, and it's still got the tag on it. Woohoo! I'm going to rip that off right now. Okay, gone. Okay, so I'll show you how this thing works in a minute, but basically it pushes the dog's nose down instead of going around their neck. My talent walked away. She decided she wasn't getting enough food. Jake tried to convince her to stay, but we'll use my hand or something. Anyways, this is a harness. Not a collar at all, but falls under the same category. Useful in some circumstances. Usually not. And this is the big mean teethy thing that everybody hates, and for good reason, because it looks like you're trying to kill your dog with it. It's called a pinch collar, and it's very effective with pit bulls and such, but we'll talk about how they're used and how they're wrong used, because that's terrible grammar, but really that's the big deal here, is those who use them wrong are going to screw them up and hurt their dogs with them, and that's why it's got such a bad name. So anyways, that's all the collars I got today. There's also some other collars on the market that are a little bit more obscure that I'm not going to really talk about. The one thing I want to briefly talk about is shock collars. I don't have one here because I don't believe in them. They're awful. Jake would not let me put one up because, see, all these other collars, they have a purpose, and we'll get into the purpose, but shock doesn't do anything. It doesn't stimulate anything, it doesn't train anything, all it does is zap your dog. And naturally that'll affect, you know, whether they are willing to listen or not, but don't really want to shock your dog. The only alternative to a shock collar that's kind of interesting electric-wise, there's ones like with a buzzer, like your cell phone you can get. I couldn't find one at the store, so probably get them online or whatever. And they just give a little buzz. It's just like your cell phone, it just kind of vibrates. Those are great for giving long-distance commands to your dogs because they don't hurt the dog. It's just a zzz. And they can feel them definitely when they can't hear your voice or can't hear your voice. So yeah, that's collars. So let's get into it. Okay guys, let's get into this. We're going to start out by talking about the purpose of a collar. It's generally considered that collars are used for one of two things. The first thing is jewelry. Yep. They hold your dog's jewelry, and while we're on the subject, it's just mention it's very important to have your dog's name. As you can see on this one, it says Jake. Maybe you can't see it. And it's also got my phone number on there. Because if he gets lost, it's really easy for people to find you that way. You know, a lot of people, like in this particular caller's example, they have the vet thing on there, they got the rabies vaccination, and they don't have a caller with their name and their phone number. Name's really important. If they find your dog, they know what to call them, and they know who to call. Makes things easier, you get your dog back quicker. Names. Anyway, so other than that, the purpose of callers is training. You want to teach, you know, your dog how to best behave on a leash and how to behave around you. You want to be the leader. And collars are probably the best way to do this. You can do this with treats and other things, but I find the collars are the most effective. And generally speaking, most people, I know it's bad, but most people when they are training their dogs, they got the collar on. Let's say that's your collar, and the dog's pulling them around. And because of that, like let's say with this training lead, there's all the time, and that's not respectful for you. It's not good for the dog because there's constant pressure being put on their neck, and there's constant pressure being put on you, and nobody enjoys the walk. So the goal is to make the walk so it's always loose. Your leash is always loose, and that's really good. So let's get into why each collar is good or bad at teaching this. So the first one is, yep, regular collar. So what does it do? Nothing. It doesn't tighten, it doesn't do anything. It sits on your dog. If they pull, it pulls on them. But yeah, it works, and like I said, it's great for holding jewelry, and you should always have one of these on your dog, but I wouldn't necessarily hook the leash up to it. Next, we got the choke collar. I'm going to show you, actually this one's kind of hard to see, so I'm going to use the chain one. Don't worry, they're pretty much the same. The nylon one's just a little nicer. The choke collar is obviously different because it, I'm going to set that up here. It chokes your dog, well sort of. It tightens is what it does. And so that means when they pull, it tightens. Cool, huh? And it doesn't really hurt all that much. Get a choke collar yourself and yank on it a bit. I mean, the chain one hurts a little bit more. The nylon one doesn't really hurt at all. So I usually use the nylon one personally because they're just a little nicer. But chain ones work for a bit stronger of a dog. So let's talk about the choke collar, because a lot of people don't really like the choke collar because it chokes, and they're thinking they're hurting their dog. But the reality is, they're not. Cool, huh? Let's talk physics. Physics? I know. Jake's giving me a weird look too, but physics are important. There was this dude, Darwin. Weird guy. Old. Kind of short. Well, maybe not. I don't know. But an apple fell on his head. Yeah, how does this apply? We'll tell you in a minute. And he figured out that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. That means if I pull this way, that much energy is being exerted over here. So what does that mean? Well, that means if my dog, and I lost the training lead. Anyway, if my dog has, say, a normal collar on, and I hook up the training lead, very simple, and I pull, like this, however hard I pull this way, that much energy is going on the front of their neck. Bad. Feel around your neck. Theirs is just like yours. Throat's right here. However, in the case of a training collar, like a choke collar, when you pull on it, with the exact same force, that force is distributed all around. Okay? So instead of having all, like let's say it's your throat, instead of having all the force of your pull right on their throat, it's distributed around the whole thing. And if you feel around your neck, the rest is muscle and bone. So ultimately, if you actually are pulling on the collar, so long as it's not a long time, it doesn't choke like it's a brief pull, this will distribute the weight around their neck and cause less damage. Over time, lots of dogs develop throat problems because they are pulling on one of these leashes. And all the force, non-stop, and they pull you everywhere, is pulling on their throat. And you don't want that. No, bad. So the key is that they're not going to be pulling at all, whether they got a choke on or this, or you're using a harness. That's the key. Alright, so let's move into more how to use the choke collar.